morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Happy 4th of July, Independence Day. Welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am Lori Monaco, the badass Buddha. And we are here to not just celebrate, well, we're not really here to celebrate Independence Day as far as it's normally celebrated. We're here to celebrate your Independence Day as we continue on our fantastic journey through understanding self this year. So welcome. Happy first Tuesday in July.
Yes, and welcome and happy Tuesday. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning today, and happy 4th of July to you. And I could not have said it better, Badass Buddha. It is the celebration of your independence. So, that was prophetic. I loved it. So,
Pull that out sometimes.
welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. Yo soy la Margarita, your gladiator guru, and thank you for being here today. And what's considered a holiday, and I don't know where you're from, but I'm where Lori's at, and it's been thundering, raining, gray skies. It is my favorite day out. All kidding aside, my favorite type of day. So I hope everybody's up and popping, and I'm happy to be here, sharing this morning with you, Badass Buddha and the tribe.
Yes, good morning. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We always want to do that. We keep that up there for those of you that are on. And I think a lot of people, it's throwing them off. It's a holiday, so they're not in their normal routine. I did that myself. I got up really early and I was doing a few things. And all of a sudden, I'm just sitting there and it's like 7:14 in the morning. And I'm like, da, 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 da. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's Tuesday. I got to get going. I got to get dressed. I got to get ready for the show. I actually was thinking it was like Sunday, it was like that, had that feel of getting up and sort of, I love Sundays because Sundays are really, truly my day to do whatever it is that I really want to do. So it's a very slow morning. Like I wake up early, but I do my own thing completely. So I was just doing my own thing this morning and I was like, oh my God, I got.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I mean, I still did my own thing, but I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I just keep an eye on the time. That's all. So welcome to the third quarter. The third quarter of the year. This is an important quarter because this is the take action quarter. Up until now, we have been learning all about ourselves, each other. We've been learning we've been learning about ourselves, but of course, you've been learning about us as well because we just are very straightforward and share our own stories. But this is where we go from here. This is where we take action, and we are going to break it down monthly again so that you can end this year on the best note and the best version of yourself. So I'm sorry, I was preoccupied. I was trying to get set up on Facebook. So this is the quarter of taking action, and July is the month of potentials and possibilities, and that's what we're going to start today. Today is going to be limitless potentials and possibilities. I actually started to, I did put it in right. I thought I didn't put it in right. So limitless potentials and possibilities, because we started to talk about how we self-sabotage our strengths, our weaknesses, all kinds of stuff. We were talking about behaviors, habits, beliefs. But if we all go into with the idea that we are limitless, when we are born and we are created, we are limitless. We limit ourselves. So we've started that conversation all along. We've been talking about that since January. And what we built you up to do is to recognize this, is to recognize it, acknowledge that it's there, own it. And then this way you'll be able to do something about it. And this quarter is taking action, meaning what are you going to do now with this information? What are you going to do to make your life better? What are you going to do to make the big changes? What is it that is preventing you? And this month especially is going to be exciting because it is about potentials and possibilities. We're going to be talking about limitlessness, but we're also going to be talking about the idea of limited views, limited ideas, limited thoughts. And we're going to break those habits and flip them so that when we get into the next month, and the next month is actually August is taking action. So we're going to teach you how to take the action steps necessary to make big changes for the remainder of this year. And then we're going to end the quarter in September on gratitude. We're going to talk about nothing but gratitude that month, because gratitude is such a key player in creating the life that you want, because it shifts your energy, it shifts your vibrational energy and allows things to come to you. So this is going to be a fantastic quarter. And before we know it, like it's going to be the end of the quarter, because that's how fast things have been going. Look at, we're already in July. We're already we're past the 1st of July. We're in the 4th of July. So it's going to go by quick. You're on mute, I think.
Sorry. It is because time waits for no one. And if you haven't noticed how quickly the months are flying, like you're like, hey, happy 4th of July. And then tomorrow you're going to wake up and it's going to be, hello, August,
Yeah.
and it's like that, because that is how quick it seems that time is going. So be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself. Sit with you, introduce yourself to yourself. You have to start learning deep down in your core who you are. Love yourself where you are at this moment. And then dream of what you're going to aspire to become. So dream that dream, walk that truth, and live that reality. And nobody can do it but you, because time waits for no one. And I'm seeing that. I've been here in Connecticut. How long now? A week and a half? A week. Has it been only a week today?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It felt like I've been here a whole month already. Hello, Amanda. Hello, Leanne. But it's like I'm sitting here and I'm strategizing with myself. And I really haven't gone out and do much. But I have been having deep conversations with myself about us. And it's what things that could have affected me 6 months ago. I'm looking at it as such a deep, like you know what? I'm ready to write my dissertation. The graduation of my growth these last couple of months have been so like, I am honored with myself. So, welcome, Iritza. I'm so happy we have our tribe members. And you know what? Take it away, badass.
So let's get started as we always do. Let's set our intention, and then let's do our mantra. So our intention at Viva Cafe con Leche is, all we ask is that you be intentional for your day. Go with intention. Have a reason. Have a purpose. And you can set it any way you want. You can change it. But just be purposeful your day. Be intentional.
And grateful. Be grateful. That's everything I just said is because I sit in grace and gratitude and always very kind to myself. Do it. Try it out. Be intentionally grateful in your life today.
Perfect. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on a few people. Hey, ping some people in. Let people know that we're here. It is a slow day today, but it's probably because it's a holiday. Like I said, I think a lot of people don't even know it's Tuesday morning. But anyway, so let's do our mantra, and then let's get talking about limitless potentials and possibilities. So here we go. Say it loud and say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole.
And I keep it real.
All day, no doubt.
So this is Erica. Oh my God, we haven't seen Erica in a while. Good morning, Erica Bolahala.
Erica Bolahalazan?
Yes.
Erica, it's been a while.
Yes, we've missed you. I
I
can't
have.
type correctly
I
today.
have.
Okay, so, and she said, good morning. So this is, I got to tell you, I have been very excited about getting to this quarter. It's not that I want to rush the year by, but I've been so excited about getting to this quarter because just as we've been teaching and speaking to all of you in the tribe, we are learning as we go, because these are always great reminders for ourselves, becoming more aware, becoming more acknowledging things in your life, the good and the bad, the things that you don't want to acknowledge, and being accountable to self, and then taking all of that information and really understanding self, understanding your habits, your beliefs, your behaviors, knowing the things that are preventing you from moving forward or moving at a faster rate, and then admitting that this is happening, like I'm doing this to myself, and then deciding, do I want to keep going this way? Do I want to keep doing this to myself? So it's important for us to, we're doing this together. This has been a journey, not just for us to you, but for us as well. And all of you have been just giving such great information in the chat, which we really appreciate because we're all helping each other. So when Gladiator Guru and I sat on Friday, we got together at our usual coffee shop in Shelton, Three Bridges, which we love, Three Bridges Coffee House. And we sat there for a couple of hours and we went through everything that was coming up for this quarter, all the programming for July, August, September. And I think we even got into, no, we didn't get into October yet, but, or no, I think we started to. But anyway, the point being is that we both were looking forward to this one, especially because we're talking about potentials and possibilities. We're talking about believing in, like, seeing things and visualizing and feeling it and manifesting it, because you want something in your life and you have to be able to see it. You have to be able to touch it, to smell it, to be able to have it. And, you know, when we think of, you know, when we're born, we are born with unlimited potential, unlimited possibility. And what happens is, as we get a little older, we get told certain things by the people around us. And most of them do it because they care about us, they want us to be safe, or because they themselves are so limited that their fears come out and they guide us. And then we decide if we're going to follow suit with that. You know, we believe those individuals. You know, it's very frustrating when you're a parent to have a child who wants to argue the point with you all the time. They go against everything that you do. And yes, I mean, it is frustrating as a parent, but when you look at it from a different perspective and you say, this is a child who's very headstrong, who wants their independence, who wants to make their decisions, how can I encourage that? How can I give them that space to be able to push themselves, and not limit them? Because who am I to say they can't do this or don't do this, when maybe it's because I'm afraid or I'm not capable of doing that. So it's a little bit, it's challenging as a parent because you want them to be safe. You don't want them to get hurt. But at the same time, when we say don't do that, that's stupid, blah, 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 we're limiting them, because there's very few children out there that will not care what you said. Well, I don't care if you think it's stupid. Well, I don't care. A lot of them still do. And even when they say they don't, sometimes they still do, and it sits and it marinates in them. And then they become adults. And then all of a sudden they second guess themselves and they question themselves, or they're bolder, but they don't make great decisions because they're still coming from a place of lack, as opposed to a place of feeling very in alignment with themselves, very grounded. And so we have to rethink for ourselves. We have to rewire our brains. We've talked about this. And we have to reprogram ourselves to say, we are limitless. We have unlimited potential and unlimited possibilities. We are only limited by what we truly believe ourselves to be. Now, I've had people be snarky and say, Oh, so you're saying that I can achieve anything? Sure. You're saying that I'm, limitless? Yes. Okay, but so if I jump off a building and I say I'm going to fly and I jump off a building, I'm not going to fly. What we're talking about is your mind. People who wanted to fly like a bird, guess what they did? They invented planes. That was the point. Like they looked at that and said, I want to be able to do that. And they knew that jumping off a building wasn't going to work. They put feathers on there, right? Like all those experiments that they did, they put things on there to make themselves a bird. That didn't work. They kept thinking and creating. That's what we mean by limitless. For every person that has created something great, like any invention that we've ever had, there was always plenty of people saying, that's stupid. It's not going to work. What are you thinking? You're crazy. And a little bit of that crazy is what got them to create this amazing thing that we use to this day, for all the things that have been invented.
Mm-hmm. And again, you have to believe in yourself in order for you to know in your core that you can achieve whatever it is you set out to do. We put limits on ourselves. So when you totally cultivate that self-trust, self-belief, self-love, it is limitless. The possibilities that you can invite into your life. Not everything is for you, but there are things that you should go after. You know what they say? You don't. When I get the correct quote, um, like not everything is for you, but anything is possible if you just step into yourself. That's where your power of limitlessness comes from, by you stepping into yourself.
We've talked about this, like a baby does what they do. You know, they pick their heads up, then they start doing the little airplane thing when they're on their bellies. Then they start trying to pick themselves up with their arms and legs. And they start crawling. Then they start standing. Then they start walking. They're going to do it. Why? Because they have such amazing potential. They will learn to talk. They will learn to speak. They will learn to do so many different things. Nobody tells them to do that. We can encourage them. We can say, oh, I've encouraged them. I'm walking with them and holding their hands as they, take their steps. They made you do that. You didn't bring any brilliance to them. They made you do that because they want to do that, and they reach out and they see and they observe and they say they understand that they see people walking, they want to do that. They hear people talking, they want to do that. They don't know why they do it. They don't know why they want to do it. They just do it. And then we lose that. We want you to think back to those times when you were a child, before people really got in your head, before people put a lot of fear into you. Go back to those moments and think about when you just wanted to. I just want to try that. I just want to be that way. I just want to do that thing. When you've been in awe of something that you saw or something that you did, that you did it and you're like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I did that. And there might have been nobody around to give you that praise, because sometimes that happens. And sometimes that's what we look for. We look for that praise from other people to validate what we did. And especially children, but you didn't get it. And then you said, well, maybe it wasn't that great. And then you start talking to yourself and you start telling yourself a story in your head. Well, we're here
Mm-hmm.
to tell you that that story is not correct. We are limitless. We set the limits ourselves, and then we blame other people for how we were, and then we blame ourselves. Once we get to another level, we blame ourselves, but we still don't do anything. See, the first step is acknowledgement and taking accountability for it. But
Yes.
don't leave and stay on that step. I mean, don't just sit there on that step. It's time now for you to say, I can do this. I want to do that. If you've wanted to travel, if you felt it in your gut to travel, and I see my friend Dawn on here. Good morning, Dawn. So I might be, you might have made me think of this, Dawn. But if you have it in your gut that you want to travel, then make it happen. If you want to go back to school, then make it happen. If you want to get a new job, then make it happen. You don't necessarily have to just to quit your old job. Just throw out resumes. Well, what if I don't have the training? Then what's it going to take to get the training? There's always something. It's what's important to you. It's what you really want. What are you feeling? In all the conversations that we have had over the last 6 months, what is burning within you? What is that unmet like entity within you that where you feel unfulfilled? If you feel unfulfilled, then why aren't you filling it? Because you don't know. I don't know what it is that I want. Then you have to find it. Travel, go out on a trip by yourself, go away for the weekend, get in the car and just drive, get yourself some space and distance from your current location to help you find yourself. And even if you say, well, I did that already, I didn't find myself, it might take a while. You know, I went away on the first trip that I took with the kids was 2021. And it was still in the heart of like people were still wearing masks and distancing and things were closed. But we went away for 3 weeks just to go, just to check out places. Would we want to be here? What is it going to feel like? We got to pass through all kinds of states on the way to Wyoming. We got to be in Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, Colorado. Then we passed through other states to come back. And it was a wonderful trip. It was beautiful country. There was so many things. I had thought about, okay, you know what? I want to move to Colorado. But then I kind of got the feeling that wasn't the place. Then I decided we'll take the trip to Tennessee and Kentucky last summer. And that's the same time that I was offered around the same time I started interviewing for New Mexico. And so all of a sudden, all this possibility came in. Hey, I've been to New Mexico. I like that area. That wouldn't be a bad place. But I'm still going to go on my trip to Tennessee and Kentucky. I went on a trip to Costa Rica, thought about living in Costa Rica. But you have to go until you feel it. And I'm not talking about go on these trips to find a place to live. It's go on these trips to find yourself. What is it that's important to you? That's what happened with me. When I went on these trips, I felt what was really important to me, where I needed to be. I love the West. I think it's beautiful country. I would love to visit there. I loved Moab, Utah. I would love to go back there and go hiking. It's phenomenal. And I connected with it, but I didn't connect deeply enough to want to live there. But where I'm going to now, I do. Like I'm connected to that. I knew the minute we pulled in to Tennessee, I knew it. I kind of knew it even before, but you never know. So this is why we've done the shows that we've done. I know I'm talking a lot. Jump in, please, Gladiator Guru.
No, what do you mean? We can never talk enough. We could never, especially when you're sharing those stories. Just you traveling. I was seeing the mountains, the clay, dirt. I was visualizing as you're driving through the named states that you were coming by, because that's beautiful. And you're absolutely right. I think that was the best advice we can give today. You're not going to find yourself in the first sitting, because you have to connect yourself, mind, body, and spirit, and then you got to dance with your soul. And the thing is that when they all become a collectively, say if I'm telling the story, when they all become collectively me, then I can filter through the bullshit that I've created in my mind about myself and my surroundings. And then I can start the reintroductions. So you're not going to find it. And her dressed right now, badass, but you were explaining that travels, like the winding roads, the mountains coming. I was there with you as you were just saying it. And then the way you said you came back, and then that was limitless. And so what? Maybe she did have fear. She was traveling with 2 kids and 2 freaking dogs, so, but you do it. And, and when people are like, oh, that's not a problem. Yeah. Picture, unless you planned ahead, trying to get a hotel with 2 dogs. I mean, but that did not stop her. Dogs getting car sick, the heat, the kids being annoying. It happens no matter how old they are.
Well, but let me interject for a second with regards to that. This is when you know you're on the path that you want to be. I actually wasn't really afraid. I adopted the mentality that said, whatever happens, I'll just redirect myself. that's when I knew that I was doing the right thing. How many times have any of us gone somewhere, even if it's a weekend trip, and we're like hesitant on stuff, like we're like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be a certain way or whatever. That's the one thing that I have learned about myself in my journey is when I trust in that process, when I say, you know what, I'm resourceful, I'm resilient, and it helps to have some money, to just because you never know if the car broke down. I have AAA. What about the dogs? You're right. If they puke in the car, you clean it up. I mean, it's like all these things of a hotel can't take the dogs. Well, we checked it out before, I made sure that wasn't the case. But I did all it, like that's the beauty of it. When Gladiator Guru was hiking in the Camino, she had a basic plan, but plans can change, they can alter. So she said, well, I'm going to go from point A to point B, and that's where I'm going to sleep for the night. Do I have a place to sleep? I don't know. Because, right, a lot of those places you kind of went and got there. You didn't reserve anything. You just showed up, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just popped up like slut magic and said to my mind, body, and soul, let's do this.
And that's the beauty of it, is that she trusted in herself. She knew everything would work out. If you want to see a very interesting understanding of this, like if you want to get a basic understanding of this, if you have Netflix, there's a great series. I think they've done 2 seasons. I think they've all only done 2 seasons. And it's called The Kindness Diary. Oh my God, I got to double check. But let me double check on this. But the first one is the guy travels across the United States, or he's going to go across the world, but with just kindness. So he's got to get his gas tank filled to keep going on his I think it's his car or motorcycle. And he could only get people to fill it up, give him a place to stay and feed him. He cannot ask for money. He has to, by the kindness of telling them what he's doing. And it's very interesting because he goes through the whole, I think the first one is he goes from Canada down, but the second one I think is worldwide. Like I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen him, but it's very interesting to the premise of it, and to see who helped, how they helped, how much they helped, but he did it knowing that somebody would help. Now, granted, he has a camera crew and all this stuff, but there's plenty of people that have done this. There's a guy that wrote a book called Walk Across America, and he and his dog literally just walked across the United States from the East Coast to the West. This was back in the late 70s, early 80s, I think. And he just stayed wherever. He took small jobs to like earn some money, but he didn't worry about it. And then he ended up writing about his journey and then becoming a speaker as a result of it.
There's like, and like what Iris saw, and also our phones didn't work. Yeah, we walked the whole Portugal with no phone service. And it was amazing to me because to me, the whole purpose of being on a journey is to disconnect from everything. And also, when you're capable of doing that, that signifies growth. That signifies that you are comfortable in your skin. And not everybody can do it. And again, as the Badass Buddha says, it's not going to happen immediately. There are steps. But when you can say, I'm doing this for me, this is for me, I am gifting myself limitless possibilities to self-soothe, to just self-love, and to self-trust, then you do a total disconnect. So that for me was like wonderful. Like and in my second Camino, when I was with Iritza, she's like the dog's tail. So we got separated. I don't know. I forget how many hours it was, but we got separated. Now, what we said was, if we ever become separated, this is how there was no fear. You talk about it. You, like the Badass Buddha said, you put some kind of plan in place.
Yes.
If we get, when I think it was more the word we used, we become separated, we'll stop the first one who sees, the cafe, stop there. So when the second one comes, we'll meet there. Well, this is the Camino. The cafe was down this hill. So I was gonna go, and then some other pilgrims like, no, no, the Camino's this way. So I figured Iris wouldn't walk down that hill and around that bend because that cafe is not on the Camino. But what did Iris do? Iris stopped at that cafe. And I walked like a whole hour and something, and I was exhausted. There was no other cafe on this route. When I get to one, their Wi-Fi connected me. So I sent her, I think it was an instant message on Facebook, and that's how we connected. But there was no fear, there was no anxiety. It was a matter of fact type of thing. Because let me tell you, to know about your limitless potential and possibilities, you have to cultivate self-trust within yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't trust yourself, there is no potential and possibilities because you have one foot out and one foot in. So you're constantly doubting and second guessing yourself. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. And you know, listen, this was understand something. When you believe that you can't, right? That's the belief. If you can't, then you won't. Then you won't do it. And you won't believe in the limitlessness. Look, let's take Iritza for a minute. So Gladiator Gurus had already been on the Camino. She had an idea. Iritza was going with no idea of what to expect because she could only go by what Gladiator Guru said, but that was it. And this
And I'm a
was
storyteller.
this was a big deal for her. So any of you that look at us and say, well, but Gladiator Guru has this thing about her, so she's a little braver, she's a little this, and you know, badass Buddha's been doing this and blah blah blah. Then don't. Then if that's the excuse you're making, look at Iritza. Iritza just said, I'm going to go, I'm going to do this. And she did not get, and even if she did get scared, she still went anyway, because when Gladiator Guru says something like, well, when we get separated, we're going to meet here. Anybody else would have, what do you mean we're going to get separated? I'm just going to stay with you then. I can't. She didn't. And then they did get separated. And it can be scary. But when you trust in the process and you say, well, you know what? Worst case scenario, I'm in one hostel and you're in the other. We'll meet up whenever, you know. But at some point, we'll find each other. And that's just it. Some point, you will find the way. You will always find the way. We always do. Whether we do it, we find it by ourselves or we find it with somebody else or through somebody else or a group of people. It's possible. It's possible. That's just it. It is possible, and we have extraordinary potential. But we have to look at that and say, what would it take? And I'll give you this really crazy example. Charlotte and I were watching, my youngest one, we were watching. She wanted me to watch. She likes watching YouTube. It's called Fail Army. It's just a compilation of people screwing up doing things, you know, could be anything, trampolines, you know, whatever. And she laughs at that stuff, right? So we're watching, they were comparing people doing the thing right and then people not doing it right. So they kept showing all these people doing these incredible, like, feats of gymnastics. Not, I'm talking like floor stuff, you know, where they're up on a pole, like in the middle of something. They just like get up on a pole and they do a handstand, or they're like holding their body in a position, right? And I'm looking at that and I'm going, damn, I want to do that. Like, I want to be able to do that with my body. I want to be able to go from a squatting position and then just slowly lift my body up into a handstand. Now, right, I'm 53 years old. These people, they're like in their 20s, you know, and they've been doing it this whole time, the ones that are older. Is it possible for me to do it? Yeah, it's possible for me to do it. Number one, I have no health issues. I have no joint problems. It's possible for me to do it. Can I do it now? No. Why? Because I let my body go. I'm not that strong. I'm too heavy to be able to do that at this point in time. But what will it take for me to do it? If I really want to do that, and this is really important to me, I have got to work out every single day. I have got to train in a way that is going to help me lose the weight and build a much stronger body, especially upper body and core, to be able to do this. Will I be able to do it the way that they do it? I don't know. But the point is that I can't now. So this is the turning point. If I say I really want to be that way, what do I need to do? Then I need to put a plan into action and not just say I'm going to try it here and there and then at some point I'll get it. I have to believe in my potential.
Yes.
And I have to decide that this is something that I really want to do because it's important to me, and then do it.
I think I agree with Iritza. You are not too heavy. I saw this very full-bodied woman, full-bodied, and she actually went backwards, and I was amazed and in awe because she was quite heavy. She went backwards, and she had a pair of leggings in and a crop top. And I was like, you go with your confidence, because I love that when I see it in other women. And she went backwards all the way. Then she lifted her legs up and came back down and went into cobra pose. And then she got up and went into upward down dog. It was amazing. And I'm saying, you know what? Because we have a vision, a potential and possibilities of where we are supposed to be. Life got in the way, but we're back on track. And you know what? The Badass Buddha doesn't really talk about her weight loss journey again as much, but when she does, it does inspire me. With the fasting that I've been doing, and it's just to hear. Look at her; she's looked thinner already. But I'm sure that you can do a backflip if necessary.
Well, and you just proved my point of being limitless. So Iritza said you're not too heavy, then you just brought up that woman. So I just limited myself by saying I'm too heavy to do it. So there's that limit. So already I put it in my head that way. But I mean, reality is that you do need to strengthen yourself. There's certain things that you can or can't do.
I can do it.
But weight doesn't have to be the problem. It's just the muscles. So I could keep going. I mean, the weight will probably come off as a result of the workouts, but I can do that. And so this is, you have to decide what is important to you. Mm-hmm. So the questions that I had put up in the comments, what is possible?
Yes.
What do you believe is possible for yourself? How much potential do you have? I put it somewhere specifically, and you can talk about what my sister wrote there if you want. Well, I said, what is possible in your life for your life?
Do you want me to read that?
Go ahead. Feel free.
Oh, says I had to venture an extra 5 miles beyond what I expected because the funiculare closed that would have taken me off of the mountain in Italy. It was getting dark and I was alone. I had to keep going, even though I had already hiked over 25 miles and I was tired. I know the feeling. I know the feeling so much that Iritza actually threw, or was about to throw, her book bag at me because we had to go an extra step. Totally know it. How courageous are you, though, that you're coming down the mountain? It wasn't even dark for us. And it was dark because you know what? There's just something that's ingrained in our heads since we're children about when it gets dark. So, I can't wait to hike with you one day soon, man, because that's going to be good. Arlene, good morning, beautiful Arlene. Sending love. Give kisses and hugs to Darlene. I'm so happy you're on today. So, I mean, we all have what we have raised ourselves in the belief. I threw it. There she goes. We have raised ourselves. We hitched on to someone else's. We believed ourselves that the boundaries we have created are just that they're healthy boundaries, when what we did was we limited our potential with the wondrous possibilities of things we are capable of doing by just throwing a different label on it. So you have to weigh them out. Like, there's boundaries to certain things, but I'm not going to do that. I have to do this and it has to be done this way because if not, it's going to be chaos. So I cannot do this and that. And those are limitations we put on ourselves, and then we stamped it with boundaries. Oh, I have boundaries. Might want to revisit that, darling. So it's things like that. So the bottom line is the badass Buddha, myself, Iritza, Arlene, everybody can get up on this platform and talk about limitless potential and possibilities for your life, how we achieve them in our lives, meaning that we're never going to reach the end game when it comes to things learned in our lives. Perfection, people who are perfectionists, they just dry their soul up with trying to get everything perfect that they miss out on life. They miss out on the fun things in life. And you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not insulting anybody. What I'm saying is revisit that part of life. We have to revisit certain sections of our lives until they come together, until we open all the doors, and then we all meet up in the center of who we are. We compartmentalize certain parts of ourselves, and then we feel like, why can't I do it? Like everybody's doing it, why can't I do it? And that's when the negative thoughts and beliefs starts coming in. You need to go revisit each room in your house and swing the bitch open, and then allow yourself the confidence to walk out into your center and become one. And revisit, are you mislabeling things that you have carried with you as boundaries or the possibilities, and then you scratch it off because I'm never going to get there because I have to do this? The only thing you have to do is breathe and be. Once if you breathe and just be, that's all you have to do in life. And then your roadways will become clear and you can walk through them. When you start blaming, well, I have kids, I can't be irresponsible like that. To whom are you throwing that irresponsibility on? Are you blaming your kids that you couldn't do this because now I have kids? I love my kids. I went again. Listen to yourself. Who are you blaming for your lack of?
Yeah.
Who are you blaming for the stunt in your growth? It's not the job, it's not the bills, it's not the kids, it's not the significant other. It always comes down to you. And you can put up a million excuses if you want. When I go eat that bread, it's nobody's fault. It's not nobody's fault because they put it in front of me. And the joy I feel when I'm like, oh, and my mouth starts watering, I start getting that magically orgasmic dance on the palate, and I start feeling it. And it's just gonna taste so good once it touches my lips, and then it's gonna look soft with the melted butter on. It's gonna just be like silky smooth going down my. And you know what? And when I say, take that away from me, and I literally say, take it away from me. Why? Because I might falter. And you know what the beauty in that is? That I am aware that I might falter. I'm not gonna come up as this Billy badass hardcore. No, I'm at the stage where you got to take it away from me because I'll say just a tip, because that's how aroused I am at the sight of something that I enjoy.
Just the tip,
right? So this is how this is how I do it. Everybody's gonna take a different approach, but the end result is the same. You are searching for the freedom of your soul by cutting the ties that limit you and that put a cast of doubt over your potential and possibilities. So everybody's going to have a different approach to it, but the end result should be the same, that you are dancing to the beat of your conga, that you're not mislabeling parts of your soul, parts of your spirit, that you are feeding your spirit all the kindness and gratitude that you deserve. So again, what's you? If anybody can put up there, like Badass Buddha said hers, people, just the other day I got asked, and I don't know who asked me. Iris, do you remember? how did I handle my husband's death? The way I answered it right away, because it was my true feeling, I was like, oh, I sounded so careless. Like there's no attachment to it. And then I think I said, because it was a journey, we don't realize how mentally prepared we are, but it still hurts as a human at that moment. But then I think it went into the Camino, and I said, no, I buried him on the 18th, and of March, and by the end of that month, I already had my tickets to Spain, not knowing anything about it. And I started getting my gear. And to anyone else who doesn't have that gumption to dream for themselves, because what are people gonna think?
Yes.
Might look at me as though I was waiting for him to die, but I don't give a shit because
Right.
their storyline is not mine. I lived it. I made the choices that best suited my spirit. I have a quote and I use it in all my books, and it's like, may your soul sing and your spirit dance. And I coined that quote when I first started having book signings in 2006 for my first book. Why? Because that is my wish for you all. And in order for your may your soul sing and your spirit dance to take place, you have to free yourself of the bondages that you acquired from your parents or that environment when you were young and you took into your adult life. Because only you hold that key to unlock the gates that have been keeping you prisoner in your own home. You are the gatekeeper. And that's where the limitless potential and possibilities will jump out and say, oh my God, you finally came, and lavish in that moment. Go ahead, badass.
If we go through our whole entire lives and then get to the end when we really are more limited, there will be a point in time where we are going to be limited. A lot of people who are really big into personal development, they never like to say that, but that's the reality. We might be a little bit more fragile as we get older, even though we've taken care of ourselves. We might be a little slower. We might not have the mental capacity that we did when we were younger. And then we look back and we're sitting there on that rocking chair going, oh, I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that. And I'm looking at it more from not just the perspective of, I don't want to be that person sitting there going, I wish. I want to be able to tell the stories to the younger people that are around me, whether it's my grandchildren, great grandchildren, whatever. I want to be able to tell them the stories and say, this is what I did and this is what I learned, and then give it like it's insight, it's knowledge for them. And I also don't want my children to not take chances. I want my kids to understand that they are limitless, that they are only limited by what they believe themselves to be, and that they will take chances. We talk so much about life and death on this show. We talk about, that story about, when people say that again, well, and then I'll go from there. I love when you tell that
And
little.
life acts death. Why do people love me but hate you? And death responded, because you are a beautiful lie, and I am the painful truth. And that's Kenneth Eyre, one of my favorite quotes, because of the truth behind it, the reality that it's not a literal life and death scenario that they're speaking about. You can take that quote and formulate it into living. People don't want to hear the truth. People would prefer to go, it's the 4th of July and blah blah, and it's all about fireworks and shit. And so it's like, what is your truth and what is your lie? And the truth of life is that you're gonna stumble, you're gonna fall, you're gonna have scraped knees, you might get a busted lip here and there. You're gonna be so agitated, your hair might start falling out, your skin might start getting very dry. Shit's gonna happen in your transition. And when it happens, those are your battle scars. Don't look at it as, I should have never even started. Look at my clothes are tattered, they're dirty. Now I gotta wait till I get somewhere to change, and I don't like being dirty. Well, then you don't like growing, because growth means pain and discomfort.
Discomfort for
Change
sure.
means you got to put that big S on your chest, superwomen, and be courageous enough to step out of your comfort zone and take charge of the life you were born to live. And yes, you know what? The only limit in life that there is the limits that we have allowed to be placed upon our person.
My sister wrote, it's important to demonstrate what you want your kids and grandkids to learn and experience. They watch us if we don't get out there and live. They see us how they should act, show them limitless. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's, I'm definitely, an example of that. I lived so many years safe, which I thought was, that's the irony. And that's the beauty of of that statement that you shared, is that life can be a beautiful lie. Because in my head, I thought that I wanted stability. I wanted the house. I wanted the family. I wanted to just live my life and do things and travel as a family. And it was all a lie, because that's not what my life was. My life was, I didn't get those things because I did not connect with somebody that was willing to just make that part of their life. And so I lived in that lie for so many years, not seeing what was right in front of me, because I had to have it that way. I had to say, no, this is the way it is. I had a really crappy marriage the first time. This one has to be the right one, until it wasn't, until it became so painfully obvious. And I believe that I have a higher purpose, because God finally intervened and said, no, you have got to know, you have got to open your eyes and see what's right in front of you, because you are supposed to be doing something else. And the interesting thing was that happened in my first marriage too. My first marriage, I had a huge divine intervention where I lost control of my car and almost got killed. And then decided to say, okay, I'm going to say no to this thing that's going on in my world. And the minute I did that, this chain of reaction events started. And within 4 months, my first husband died. And I would have been left with I was left with a lot of debt anyway, but I would have been in a much worse situation had I not stepped up and really felt that near death experience and said, this is a sign. I've got to abide by the sign, and I've got to listen to this. And so that's why, to me, I always known that there's always a higher power guiding me. But when we refuse to listen, when we insist that we know and that this isn't the way it is, that's when the shit does not go right for you. So if your life is not going right, stop resisting it. Just say, okay, I'm just going to trust in the process and let you guide me. And it's scary and it's hard to do that. And I constantly fight with this. But in the end, whenever I do that and say, okay, and I'm going to step back and observe, because it's almost like saying you're looking at pitch black and you're going, I don't know where to go. I don't see the path in front of me. But when you just sit back and you wait, then all of a sudden you see something. Just
your eyes adjust.
Yes, that's a good one. Your eyes
adjust to your now. Go ahead. Keep on.
That was beautiful. Go with that one. Your eyes adjust. I love
and it does. See, let me tell you, you might think me weird, but ever since I was little, I like to walk in a pitch dark house because I wanted to awake my senses.
Me too. I do that all the time.
Yeah, even now. And I'm in my sister's house. So I don't, I'm familiar with the house, but there's like a little step when you go into the bathroom that sometimes I forget, even when I'm walking out. So I slide off. But I like it because it's not my comfort zone.
Oh my God.
So I'll come out and I make sure I'm sleeping in her basement right now. And it's beautifully decorated. So I got to come up that flight of stairs. If anybody knows me lately, my knee has been acting up. So, and then I got to come through the kitchen, open the gate that they have for the dogs, walk through the living room into the bathroom. So what I do is on my way up, I start turning off all the lights. One, I don't like overhead lights. Then I go in the bathroom. So when I open the bathroom door and I turn the lights on, it's black. So I close my eyes. I take a deep breath. And if you know me, I'm always doing something with my hands. And then I open my eyes and I take 1, 2, 3 steps to come out from where the bathroom is, and I start seeing the outline of stuff. And that's what life is. You know, it's okay. But when you trust in yourself and you're
That's so
building that limitless potential and possibilities, the universe will open up to you. We talked about a lot of things. Thank you for sharing that because that was beautiful. And you know, it's always sad. It's sad. The balance of life is death. So in order for someone to be born, someone has to die. You know, and if someone to die, meaning someone's going to be born. So it's like this revolving alpha omega shit, right? But it's a fact of life. Yet we celebrate new births, which nobody plans on, like on a kid. You don't plan a whole 18 years of savings account, or unless you're a Rothschild. And so that right there is you're enjoying yourself, saying, oh well, the kid's here now, whatever, what are we supposed to do? Go with the flow. That's where the possibilities start, the limitlessness of what you are capable of doing to provide for this child. So when I hear about what you went through, you know, although we talk about it in private, you say it on the show because it is something that needs to be shared. It is a truth. It's still like, wow, the things we've been through, the courageous women that we all have become, sharing amongst ourselves and then repeating the stories with other people. And that's why when people's like, what's your purpose? To be happy. And how do you do happy? I have conversations with people. So I'm a student and a teacher at the same time. And that is such a wow factor for me. That is what I want. People are like, oh, I want to be rich. I want to have this. I don't want to own shit, first of all. I just want to be able to gracefully walk and meet people and share stories and just be happy knowing that I am fulfilling a purpose and the whole reason why I exist in this world. So as you were saying that, you invoked something, a truth of mine. And yeah, we talked about the camino. Thank you for bringing that up because that's always like my happy place. And prior to that camino, I had a terrible car accident, March 2022, March 31st to be exact. Pulling out a truck is coming right at my driver door. All of a sudden, I'm spinning. There's a boom. My glasses fly to the back seat, and I'm spinning. And I'm like, oh my goodness, right? The car gets on the sidewalk and lodges into a bush. So somebody comes up, and I'm thinking I'm trapped in my car. Right, first thought, my glasses are off. I'm like seeing blurry. I forgot I wore glasses. I'm thinking it's the accident. It was just so funny how life happens. Anyway, a lady comes, you got to get out your car. Your engine's leaking. There's smoke coming out. So I was like, my door opens. I open. I take my seatbelt off. No problem. The bag burst open. So the only thing, no bruises here. It burned a hole through my shirt, but never touched my skin. Anyway, I get out the car. Not one dent on my driver's side, but the whole front and passenger side was totaled. How did that happen? How does that happen? Those are miracles. When you can say, I live to see several miracles from God in my life. And you know what was my first thing when I called my son? Because, you know, now I'm like, and my daughter left work and my niece left work and they all drove, not my son, my niece and my daughter drove to the accident site. And my thing is, they're like, you have to go to the hospital. And I said, I'm still going on the camino. That was my first thing. When I came back from the camino in June, I was here. I was feeling kind of lost. You remember that, badass?
Yep.
Displaced. And I was like, but I just did the camino. Like that always, like, you know, power washes my brain. So I self-isolated from July to early October. And we had, that's a whole other conversation, but that brought up a lot of stuff. Self-doubt, confidence, oh my God, what is it that I'm feeling? I don't understand it. I'm on the right path. Like this was me, right? But I came out of it and I went straight into a job. But in doing that, I realized people, places, and things that does not enlighten me has no place with me. People, places, and things. If we are not in it together, then I cannot be a part of you. Not that you can't be a part of me. I am removing myself because I was born to live limitless with much potential and a whole heaven of possibilities. And when you start learning and believing that about yourself, it's not selfishness, it's actual selflessness because in your journey, you're bringing along everybody that God and the universe has. You know, when you do those numbers drawings, I always do them for the kids when we go to the diner. I'm like, oh, let me do this part because I love doing the 1, 2, and finding all that. God does that for you. He has a connected dot. You can go to the other side of the world next week, like, oh, I feel something missing. And you're going to meet the people that you're supposed to meet in this lifetime. So stop limiting yourself to your little room with the 4 walls, and all the while you're bitching for the exact size room you built. Because as the badass Buddha, see, I like to travel by myself, me and my pocketbook. She travels with her 2 children and her 2 dogs. And they all come with baggage. They all have luggage. They all have a bag and this and this and that. She got to stop every X amount of miles because people need bathroom breaks. But she does it, and she did it with a smile. And traffic, she's driving. And so when I listen to her journey, I'm thinking that takes patience, that takes favor, definitely carrying kindness and gratitude in your heart, because I'll be like, Iris and I have taken many road trips with our kids and they're still complaining about how awful parents we were. But I said, but did you die? That's always the question, right? But they learn from it. You know, they're saying this as they're laughing because they learn from it. We are teachers and we are students. So open up your purse and untie all those knotted strings that keep you strapped in. And let's live a fruitful life filled with potential possibilities. But you got to do it with unfolded wings.
Mm.
You can't be an injured little bird blaming and complaining about everything around you when you're not allowing healing time.
And you can't have those wings and just shake them out every so often and then just say, well, I'll jump off the limb in a minute and give them a test. You can't. Why have the wings if you are not going to fly?
Hello? Say it again. Say it again for the people in the back.
Why have the wings if you're not going to fly?
Exactly.
Oh, Lydia. Look at that's so sweet.
Huh? And did you read Leanne's? Because that's also very good. There's a lot of moms on here. I'm a grandma. You know, I'm that grandma that my kids are hesitant for me to be around my grandkids. But I'm like, they gotta learn. And I speak to them as, you know, little mini adults. I don't put you in. I hate that. That stunts growth, I believe. So when they're all babies, like 2 months, maybe 3 months, I pull their toes. I crack their knuckles on their toes. And you know, they cry. You and my kids, they're like, stop it, I can't believe you're still doing that, right? You know, I got 4 grandkids. Last night, my 2-year-old was here. So she's playing. Wella, no, don't touch me. You know, I said, give me your toes. She's like, okay. And she hands me her feet, and I'm gonna pull it, and I pulled it, and she takes it, cracking up, and gives me the other one. So I had to do the same toe on each foot. So we went back and forth, and the big toe was last. I said, "Are you ready for the big one?" She's like, "Yeah," and she did it. And you see, because then people are like, "Why would you adjust to pain? The cure for the pain is in the pain." And we were raised like that, and I have high tolerance for pain. And it's like life is just gonna beat your ass up all the time. So have some kind of control over what you will and will not tolerate. And I love my grandkids. They are my 20-year-old, my 16-year-old. Where I'm at their house, they'll actually say, "Well, you want to pull my toes?" because now that's a me and them thing. And although they know it's gonna like hurt a little, they always feel good afterwards. Come on.
So you're practicing chiropractic without a license.
Yeah, all the time. Mhm.
Oh my God. So this has been a great start to a fantastic month ahead of us.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about, let's see what we have coming up. So we're going to be talking about words on Thursday, words that limit us, words that make us limitless. We're going to be talking about how big is your butt. The can't is I won't. I can't is I won't. We're going to be talking about limitlessness. You are God, seeing beyond what you see, and what do you see now? So this is a really, really big month. We encourage you, as always, to really go back, and if you have not been following from the beginning or taking notes, go back to the January show and start taking notes, because this is make 2023 your year. Make this a big year. This is actually going to be a very big year for both Gladiator Guru and I. Like, we have major stuff shifting this year. And it's been a long time coming, especially for me, but Gladiator Guru is in a shift that she doesn't even know what the hell's going on, but
And
she's
I'm so
shifting.
excited about that.
Exactly. And we're throwing that onto all of you to say, listen, if we could shift and do this and go into the unknown, you can as well. You know, it's just a matter of having that faith and that belief in yourself, which goes hand in hand with your limitless potential and possibilities. So join us on this journey. Continue with us, for those of you that have been on this journey, because we're going to end this year with incredible changes. We're gonna with incredible insight, with just the coolest stuff we're going to end this year with. But we want you to be there too. We don't want you to look back and go, oh, I wish I had done that this year while they were doing that, because I could have been here. No could have, should have, would have. If for some reason you get to the end of the year and you haven't, then take that as the sign that's saying you need to start right now.
Start where you are. Just show up for yourself. Messy hair, don't care. Put a bra on, a tit sling, whatever you want, or don't. This is your life. And as long as you honor, trust, and respect yourself, what anyone else has to say doesn't matter.
That's right.
You know, so live in grace. And how do you get to be graceful? By feeding your spirit kindness and gratitude. Be kind to yourself, because when you are good to yourself, you're acknowledging your higher power of, for me, Yahweh. So you have to understand that you matter. You're important. Your existence brings light upon this world. When you realize your full potential, then you will vow and accept the limitless life filled with potential and possibilities that are your divine blessings that you were born with. So go out there and get it. And if you're still learning, I'm hoping, as the Badass Buddha told you months ago, have your pad and pen always for the show, because not everything is for you, but there'll be some very, very important mustard seed advice or experience that we're sharing that's going to touch your soul. And that means you need to get to writing and seeing and reading and saying it out loud and then applying it, because we're just the messengers on this show. So let's get to popping.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay, so have a fabulous week. For those of you that are enjoying the day off today, enjoy it. Do something absolutely wonderful for yourself. Make sure you take that time. We'll see you on Thursday for another fabulous show. So from me, the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
And from the Gladiator Guru, mi gente, remember, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.